are you yes on 301 and no on 302?
I'm yes on 301 because it's an easement that was paid for by the city of Denver, city voters, city tax dollars, bond dollars, right? Two million.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's a citywide issue, and the entire city should be able to weigh in. One, okay, this is not a Park Hill issue. This is a citywide issue, not a Park Hill issue. So with that, I'd like to see green space stay there. And I know who owns the Park Hill Golf Course. Andrew Klein and Westside Development, right?
Okay.
And this white man who bought the land for $20 million knew there was an easement on the land. He knew that there was an easement on the land and that you could not build anything there. But he was relying on his connections with the city and Mayor Michael Hancock to move the roadblock out of the way so that they could develop the land, right? So then the city of Denver spent over $300,000 to start creating a development plan for the Park Hill Golf Course, knowing that there was an easement there. That's what the lawsuit is about right now. That's why the city of Denver is a named defendant in this lawsuit, okay? Because they spent money that they wasn't supposed to start to create a plan to develop a golf course, right? So this all started foul, okay? And you got this white man, Andrew Klein, behind all of this, okay? He sees an opportunity to buy land for pennies on the dollar, and he thinks his hookups is going to help him lift this easement so he can develop and come up. Now, I don't know what their dealings are or who was promised what, but I'm sure there were some promises made inside of that, right? Now, because the city is aware and this lawsuit then came forward, now Andrew Klein, and Westside Development need help because there's a vote about the easement, to lift the easement, right? So you need black people to go convince community that, well, if it's going to be for y'all, we're going to give y'all something. So he's promised a group of black people a percentage of the golf course. I don't know. You can buy a certain percentage and develop it. I don't know what the deal is. They won't tell us because we've asked. I've asked them how much they own, specifically the Hollering Group. I've asked them how much they own. They haven't told me yet. I'm supposed to meet with them Thursday. We'll see what they say. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, until they tell me any different, Andy Klein owns the spot, right? So he's recruited these black folks to come, sell this story about we doing this for the black community, right? And we supposed to believe this, and we supposed to trust this. But the same people, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not even going that far. But I will say, Andrew Klein, I don't trust him. If you look at a similar development in Laredo Heights, he owned that land, made promises to community, right? And community was like, okay, we with it, based off the promises and all the engagement. And then as soon as his development gets ready to start, he sells the land to another developer who's not obligated to those promises to that community. And this is what Andrew Klein and Westside did. So, and these are the same people involved with the Park Hill Golf Course. So why should we trust this white man to do right by community and do right by the people, the black people he brought into the mix to say, okay, we'll give you some of this, right? If you guys make this happen, we'll give you some of this. It'll be for black people. Who's to say he's not going to flip on that deal? I ain't seen nothing in writing that says anybody other than Andy Klein and Westside own this. We ain't seen no development plans. We haven't seen anything. So they're asking us to vote no on 301 based off of what you're telling me. You can't show me any hard proof that you own the golf course or that you have these plans or what was promised to you. So I don't trust the white man. I'm voting yes on 301.
Brandon, there's a pattern. And here's the pattern, first of all, that I want to run by. By the way, free thinkers out there, I'm voting yes on 301, no on 302. Black and white, the race card is always played in these filthy politics. They always play the race card. And if you think black folks are going to benefit from anything in this land of gentrification, we're in white Atlanta.
Period.
Like, let me just talk to the BIPOC folks for a second, because you don't believe this. You believe it if you're going to get something out of it, and that's cool. You should get something out of life. Beautiful. I don't have no problem with that. I'm going to go a little further back, but go on the north side over there by Cesar Chavez Park, and then you tell me how much y'all trust developers
Come on,
to
man.
represent the Latino, Latinx community. Go to the north side right now. Go over there where they call it high-low.
I'm telling you.
Come over here to 5 Points right now and tell me how much you trust developers to build a neighborhood for black folks. For everybody who's telling me that black folks live, own, and reside in Park Hill, show me where that's at right now in 2021. If you tell me that Greater Park Hill used to be on the other side of 23rd, closer to Montview. Greater Park Hill just meant white. When blacks started coming into Park Hill and they came over there on that part of 32nd and made their way up to 23rd, this was a racial line.
Right.
I challenge you right now to come with Brother Jeff and knock on 5 doors anywhere in Park Hill, anywhere in Curtis Park, anywhere in Whittier, anywhere in San Rafael, anywhere in what used to be the Red Bricks. Knock on 5 doors with me and tell me if you run into 5 black families. It ain't gonna happen. We can take it out to Green Valley Ranch. We could take it out to Montbello. Knock on 5 doors in a row and tell me if you run into 5 black families. It ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
So
Not on my block.
everybody trying to tell me something about we need to do something for black folks in Park Hill, I guarantee you they don't even live in Park Hill.
Come on, man. And then the interesting thing is the people that are pushing the narrative that this is a community issue and protect community voice and Park Hill should be the ones making the decision. They don't even live in Denver.
What?
Go look at that Empowered Northeast Denver clip with Dale Phillips saying he don't want Highlands Ranch, folks in Highlands Ranch weighing in on what is going on in the, Park Hill. Highlands Ranch isn't even Denver County. They don't even get to vote in this. What are you talking about? First of all, Dale Phillips. Second of all, do you live in Denver? I really want somebody to like find out all these people pushing this. How many of them live in Denver?
But we don't even have to do Denver.
Let alone Park Hill.
Don't do Denver. Do just Park Hill.
Yeah, none of them live there.
Like do Park Hill.
But they're telling everybody else that we shouldn't let nobody. But this is a citywide issue because it's citywide tax dollars that paid for the easement. I had somebody tell me, why am I getting involved in something that don't have nothing to do with me? I'm a Denver resident. The person that told me that lives in Aurora. Interesting.
Here, let's break this down because politics can be heated. Politics can ruin families and friends. Like, that's why they say don't speak religion in politics. But we speak religion in politics. So if you look at all of this stuff that's coming into your mailbox, and you look at the way the Mile High Income City, white Atlanta, and for those of you who are talking about, it's not a racial issue, they the ones running race all the time. When they put these campaigns together, I guarantee you the folks that put it together and they bring race into it, they don't care 2 cents about black folks, white folks, brown folks. They care about green. They care about their money.
That's it.
So now, but they get folks arguing about black and brown. There ain't no black folks community in Park Hill. There's some black folks that live there. There's some black folks that are scattered around there, but I can guarantee you someone who grew up in Park Hill, someone who's connected to said community. Colorado might be majority white with 3 or 4% black folks, but I grew up in a community that was damn near 98% black.
Right.
It was 5 Points, Park, everything all the way back to Stapleton.
I-70 corridor.
All of that was black. So if that's what you're talking about in terms of black community, that's been gone a long time ago.
Right.
That don't exist. So for those who are running that 1970s, 1960s narrative on black folks and so say, oh my God, black folks about to lose something. You ain't losing something. It's been lost.
Right.
And it's been stolen. It has been reverse mortgaged. It has been predatory lending. It has been robocalled at the clerk and recorder's office where they were, people were in foreclosure and they were siding with the banks as opposed to be a neutral environment.
And you think the development of the Park Hill golf course is going to somehow reverse that trend? It's going to speed it up. It's going to create another tax hike to push more black and brown folks up out of Park Hill. That's what's going to happen, man. And if you guys can't realize that, like, I'm sorry. That's just what it is.
Here's what I want to do. Because there are white folks that are tired of white supremacy, and they're tired. Like, there are white folks here. Remember, the black mayor, Mayor Hancock, barely got reelected.
Barely.
And he started with like 800,000 in the bank. And he almost got tapped out by a white woman from Iowa who didn't have no money. Didn't, like, if he was to run again right now with some contenders that's ready to run for this next election, he wouldn't have a chance.
He wouldn't have a chance.
And so let's take black folks out of it for a second. White voters out there, you know that you are tired of this raggedy, run-down, trifling city where they done closed down the park area because they said it's too many rats, where they sweeping folks and they making a condition illegal. Your neighborhood that you love so much, and rightfully so, is filled up with Airbnb because folks is traveling looking for a place to live. So now you ain't got no neighbors because the city done made your neighborhood a tourist destination spot, so you don't know your neighbors. You don't know the zoning because if you got the hookup, you can put a pop top up or a wide this or a granny house in the back. White folks, you are so sick and tired of this, but the way they hamstring you to where you can't say anything is because they say, well, black folks is going to be impacted. You don't want to be called racist. They playing that race card on you. Just use your common sense. You don't trust Mayor Hancock. Mayor Hancock's in bed with these developers. This developer who has purchased Loretto Heights has now got his hands over here on the golf course, and you don't trust them, and that's why you voting yes on 301 and no on 302. Don't get all into the race thing, and we'll back this thing up further if you'd like. First of all, we need to talk about what an easement is. Now, all these individuals, it's all of a sudden don't know what an easement is. They got 60 acres, like they got 60 acres of land, and all these intelligent folks is talking about they don't know what an easement is. What is it? I don't know. I don't know. What they're saying is somebody purchased some land real cheap, but the reason it was affordable because it had an easement on it.
Right.
Said individual got a little bit of money that can donate to political campaigns, a campaign donor to Mayor Michael Hancock. Mayor Michael Hancock go to more meetings with white folks with money than you ever see him. You probably don't even see him at church no more.
Come on, he don't have time for that.
He hanging out with money. Same with Christopher Columbus Herndon, and same with the former councilman Albus Brooks. Every time you see them, they running around with folks that so-called got the money. They ain't running around with their community because their community is no longer affordable to them. So here you have an individual who drops all these millions on a piece of land that has an easement on it. But guess what? Don't worry about it. The politics of it, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix it in the mix. We're going to fix it. So Mayor Hancock, you think I donated $80,000 to you and your friends and your partners just because I like the way you look and because you know how to do the cabbage patch and the wobble wobble and use black and we like to help black folks? Nah, I purchased a piece of land, 60 acres, and it got an easement on it. Negro cabbage patch over there and fix that.
Fix it.
Well, you know, how's I'm gonna fix it? I don't know how to fix it. It's an easement. City councilman, all of y'all, I donated to you too.
Yeah.
It ain't just the mayor. I donated to you and you and you too and all you old urban camping band Negroes and Negrets and all them folks. And I donated to you. Fix it. Well, here's what we gonna do. We gonna put it in the consent agenda because the city council responsible for the people, and the people get to decide if they want the easement or not. And so, what's we gonna do, Mr. Klein? Well, here's what we do. We just take it to city council, and that whole thing will be taken care of, and you be able to get your money. You be able to get your money.
Right.
But then what happens is, when it comes down to the consent agenda, it's Monday, we just gonna vote on this whole package and approve all of this, and then somebody says, no, you ain't. There's 60 acres in that package, and there's an easement attached to it. Bum, bum, bum.
Right, right. And see, the thing about
Brandon.
it is,
Bum, bum, bum.
it hit the fan. It's hit the but David Martin on here is commenting, and I think he makes a good point, man. There's, the wording doesn't require that space be a golf course.
This ain't about no golf course.
No, I mean, but you know what I'm saying. So like people, there's other ways to utilize the space and it still protect the easement and them not be in violation of the easement, right?
Right.
Right. But they want to build houses. That's what they want to develop. They want to build some living, right? So it's. Like I understand what he's saying with that, but
that's but Brandon,
that's what they're trying to sell to community, saying we're going to build this athletic facility,
right.
We're going to have this, we're going to have that, but they're not talking about the $500,000-$600,000 homes that's going to go up right next to it.
Well, here's another dynamic, because I want to keep rolling this back a little bit further.
Okay.
When you sit down at closing, I don't know how many of you have purchased real estate, but you're looking at someone who has purchased real estate. There's a thing called a title company.
Mm-hmm.
And a title company is going to go through all of this. This is why you're paying them, to see about liens and who owns this and who really owns the property. And they're going to protect your interest and what this boom, boom. And then by the time you get to the closing, they're going to pull out that
easement,
that triplicate. They're gonna tell you here's what you can do. Here's all the agreements. Here's everything attached to that property. So the moment these folks sat down, and I'm sure they've purchased millions of dollars worth of property, so they're well aware of it more than us.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they playing that simp game. I don't know what's going on. You knew what was going on at closing.
Right. And
it's a little thing called an easement. And an easement is a real thing. In real estate, it's an asset. Everybody who's talking about, I want a track, I want a dog park, we ain't talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this thing called an easement.
Come on, brother Jeff.
We're talking about this thing called an easement. You know what? I like a Space Hubble shell. I like the Space Command to stay in Colorado. You know what I'd like? I'd like peanut butter and jelly, and I'd like some Tutti Frutti. I don't care what you want. This easement tells you that it is something and it means something. Until you figure out exactly what your disagreement is about that easement, which an attorney is telling you, your attorney will tell you anything. You got to prove it in front of a judge.
Right.
I don't care, all you legal folks. I'm an attorney. So what? Everybody got disagreements. Go to the court right now. Everybody got a counsel and opposing counsel. On this football field, you got this team and that team. They don't all come in and say, let's shake hands. We're both teams. Let's win and just call this thing a tie.
Come on, man. Keep going.
It's the wildest.
It's
all
a trip.
the stuff it's wild. There's an easement on that 60 acres, and now here you got another team saying, "Well, what we plan to do to 10 acres or 15 acres, I got 60."
Right.
When is first you gonna say, "Well, I got 60, but just give me 20." You give me 20. You take the 40, and I'm gonna feel real good about that. That's how you talk to Negroes.
Right.
That's how you talk to community, and it's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
First of all, an easement says you want a golf course? No, we're talking about land use. What can be done? The citizens of Denver dropped $2 million for something, and it was to keep open space and to prevent all this development. And then all these years later, somebody's going to come forward and say, that's not what that is.
Right. Come on, man.
If you could do it, then you wouldn't even be having this conversation with us.
They sent you guys to come try to do the dirty work. The same thing DPS does by putting black face out in community and be the face of the oppression and the BS. This is the same thing that the West Side Development is doing by grabbing a group full of Hancock cronies and saying, here, you guys go do the work for me. And you guys be the face of this and convince community that this is for you guys, and we know it, and we know it's best, and we gonna do this. I'm not buying it, man.
I trust the Hollerman group. I trust the folks I grew up with. I wouldn't trust Mayor Hancock with 50 cents of my good dollars.
Listen, I don't trust Mayor Hancock. I don't trust Andrew Klein and West Side Development.
You shouldn't, because look.
And Mayor Hancock's interest I feel like, is strongly represented in the Hollering group. They would have to convince me otherwise.
Well, Hancock is the one behind it.
Yeah.
He's the one that the developers, the money, Andy and them said, go fix this. Go fix this. I gave you $80K. I done supported you all this. I given you this. Blah, blah. Go fix it. How can I fix it?
And Westside gave $280,000 to empower Northeast Denver.
Why?
To go sell this story.
Because if it's your property, you should be able to do what you want.
Exactly.
Like if it's a zoning issue, you go and talk to city council. I'd like to have a liquor store over there, but okay, go and get the neighborhoods to sign it. Go get your thing done. Do you think these millionaires are gonna ask you what you want when they never give you what you want? They're not in partnership with you. They don't like you.
Instead, they gave John Bailey some money to go give Manuel's basketball coach some money for kids to pass out flyers about this. So you got kids passing out flyers, John Bailey. You know what I'm saying? That can't vote. Their parents might be on the other side of the issue. That's questionable and unethical, if you ask me. And that's what's going on. They done put black folks to work to try to convince black community that this is what we need.
In a community that ain't got no black folks there.
Come on, man.
See, that's the race card. They done made this a black issue in White Atlanta.
John Bailey asked Gabe if we could pass out flyers for him. For with Warrior Nation. We told him no.
Man, let me tell you guys this. Vote yes on 301. Vote no on 302. Let me tell you why I'm able to say what I say and what I want to say and how I want to say it, because we're powered by the people. Go to brotherjeff.com, make a donation of any amount, 7 donations a day. I guarantee you, if you gave me all this money just from one election with these glossies, we change this whole game. But what we do is we count on individuals to do what you can and to support us. 7 donations a day, brotherjeff.com. Also, thank you to our patrons. Thank you to those who do the great Leanne Wheeler's favorite option. That's Cash App, $JFFFARD. vote yes on 301, no on 302. This has nothing to do with black folks, because if you think Park Hill is black, I got a Brooklyn Bridge to sell you.
Come on.
If you think Park Hill is black, I guarantee you, you come join me. Brandon, I've driven from Quebec to 5 Points up 26 and ain't seen no black folks sometimes.
I do. I've done it too. You see white folks out there exercising and walking their dogs or whatever it is, but like the more and more I come through the hood, you know, what I grew up knowing, like it's completely different. It doesn't. It's not the same, man.
And so I know that there are individuals. We can name individuals who have something. Don't get it twisted. My financial class, I'm in a position to live in the Mile High Income City. A lot of folks can't.
A lot of folks
So don't
can't.
talk about one individual, because if it was about me trying to get over or you trying to get over, yeah, there are a few of us here and there and are doing. The masses of black folks is doing horribly in education. The outcome that DPS continues to put out outside of that system is subpar at best.
Yes.
It's under-enrolled, but listen to this. If it's under-enrolled, but you got all this density going up, all that's telling you is under-enrollment means white folks ain't putting their kids in them schools.
Right.
That's what under-enrollment means. And the system says, well, I'll close every one of them schools down until we make them acceptable for you to bring your white kids and put them into these schools, as opposed to shipping them this way and that way and this thing called choice. Stop playing with us.
Yes.
If you're going to do race, let's have a real conversation about race. 301 and 302 has nothing to do with you having a grocery store. The average individual right now in 2021, you can get in an Uber and get to a grocery store anytime you want. I have a place right there off of Garfield, right by the US YMCA.
Right.
We ain't never had a major grocery store. We've always had to get to Colfax and get over there to Cremeria.
Right.
Ain't been a problem. And then right now you got grocery stores, Trader John's up here. You got a Vitamin Cottage over here. White folks going to have accommodations. This ain't about your grandma getting to the grocery store and getting some fresh vegetables.
That's what they want you to think.
That's what this is about. I got another bridge to sell you.
That's what they want you to think, though. They'll put that little grocery store there and then surrounded by, $600,000 homes and condos, and then we won't even be there no more. That store will be for them white folks who occupy that space.
White folks, do me a favor. Allies. I'm allies. Here's what I'm going to ask you. Quit letting them play the race card on you and making you go mute because they say race, and then all of a sudden you can't say nothing. White folks, you know what's going on in this city. You can't stand it no more. White supremacy don't care about white folks. It just means you have an opportunity to participate more easily in terms of getting success and trinkets, but you can't even afford to live here. The seniors in the Mile High Income City ain't jumping on these scooters to transport them way down them bike lanes.
No.
The seniors is being disrespected. The folks that don't have access to whatever the technology, they're being left out, and it's been put in place by a black man who was a black boy who grew up homeless, as he said, and then makes it illegal for individuals to be unhoused. If that's what you think is that you're supporting, you're out of your mind. Vote yes on 301, no on 302. And for those of you who are talking about, you know what do we need a golf course for? It ain't about a golf course. It's about use. Go back and figure out what an easement is, and don't let them put the cart before the horse. I want you to have everything that they say that you want to have. I want them to listen, and I want you to give them the vision and all that stuff, but make sure you ask them, well, if that's what I want, what if the easement says I can't have none of that? Shouldn't we figure out what the easement says first? Mm-hmm. That don't make sense, Brandon?
It makes perfect sense to me. Like, I don't get it, but the tactic is to pull the wool over everybody's eyes and make it seem like it's something it's not, and we see right through it. But it's a task trying to get folks to see as clearly as we see it. But I think just this simple explanation, I think a lot of people who tune into this are going to be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But then there's folks that have their mind made up on the issue. You know, you can't change that.
And the good thing about it, or the bad thing, however you see it, because this is political, the average person don't care. This is going to be a low turnout. The free thinkers and individuals who are going to get the vote out, all you got to do is go over here to over here to where Loretta Heights was.
Yes.
Just go talk to their neighbors.
Go talk to them.
Everybody that got them 301 and 302 yes sign, green versus concrete or whatever, go talk to somebody over there in by Loretta Heights.
You ain't got to go that far, Brother Jeff. You can go down here to the East Denver Y. When they told everybody that was going to be $300,000 living, and now everything over there is $500,000 and up.
Do you remember the visioning process over there? Because I do.
Yeah, man,
it was like, what do you want? What do you need?
Exactly.
We want the Lightning Lonnie Smith boxing plaza there.
Yes.
We want something for our kids, because in that area you had to go all the way over here to what was Skyland, which is now Hiawatha Davis, or you had to come way over here to Glenarm, and the only thing that you had in that middle was the YMCA.
Right.
The community said, what do we want? Something for the young people. We want to have Lightning Lonnie Smith was in there at that particular time.
He was in the gym.
He was in that gym, and he was trying to purchase that building. Yep. And them developers was in there saying, "No, well, what do y'all want? All them meetings was taking place. Albus was sitting there in the meetings, yeah, whatever, doing his little best act with the developers. And then the neighborhood fought them, because once they finally bought that property, the neighbors didn't want those buildings to go up so high. It was like, no, you get 3-story, you get 3, whatever it is. But now go over there, it looks like little square village of density that has nothing to do with what that community wanted.
Nothing to do. Nothing to do.
Go over there and put up a yes on 301 sign and a no on 302 sign. I'm gonna tell you one more thing, Brandon. Check this out. Free thinkers out there, I want you to go on 26th Avenue. I call it Interstate 26. It's so crowded and congested there now. Come up 26th and start at Colorado Boulevard and go all the way up to York. There is still a high percentage of black homeowners right there on that block.
Yes.
All of them got yes on 301 and no on 302 signs in front of their houses.
Because they've experienced the BS firsthand, Brother Jeff. You know what it is. They've lived this. If that's the best example you could have gave all day, is go talk to the people who have been through this before. If you drive down 26, that's the way I'm going back.
Go down
and I'm going to take pictures, Brother Jeff. I might even do a video.
Go down
going up 26 from York all the way up to Colorado on my way back to the valley. And I'm gonna show you guys, because that's exactly right. Those folks have experienced it firsthand.
And they've been homeowners, and they've been in that area for the longest. Do you think that those individuals want a grocery store over there in the park? Or do they want to look out their front and see green space, some trees, some oxygen? Do you think those individuals up 26 say, nah, put up some more density in front of my house? That's what I want.
Put the back of King Supers right here so I can see the loading dock.
Bring them trucks up like you got here's what we want, like you got on 5 Points. We want deep rock trucks plowing all up and down the streets because you need some water to drink. Go up 26 and ask me if any of them neighbors would rather have a park in front of them, or they want a whole bunch of new neighbors sitting up in front of them.
Come on,
and
man.
I guarantee you, go look at them signs. As a matter of fact, go to Dr. Renee Cousins' house. I went up there one week and I saw she had a sign up that said no on 301. Mm-hmm. Next day I came up, she had a sign that says yes on 301. I'm like, oh, the doctor must have been confused for a minute, thinking that it meant something.
Right.
Did a little bit more research and yanked that no up. Yeah. And go Dr. Cousins' house. Go all up 26. Think about them neighbors and see what they would rather have. And they're closer to the Park Hill Golf Course than anybody that's talking about it.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
It ain't hard.
Definitely. And then as somebody, for me, just to give like a little example, man. I live in Green Valley, man. You know, and I live in a area, you know, out there that's being developed constantly. Like everywhere you look, there's something being developed to the point where it's like, you know, all the people who own that land, Oakwood or whoever else owns all that land, I mean, they're not even considering green space, if you ask me. It's so dense, it's so like packed in, and it's starting to get to a point where it's uncomfortable. And if you have an opportunity in Park Hill to protect green space and to protect, from developers coming in and just putting up high rise and
more money. They don't even live
tax
here.
hike, and they don't even live here.
Brandon, check this out. If you get a parking ticket, you got to send that ticket to Texas. This city ain't got enough sense to say, I'm going to create jobs in my own city to where if you in the mile high income city get a ticket, see where you remit it, then you're going to be sending it to Texas. This is a colony. Right now, as we speak, free thinkers out there, vote yes on 301, no on 302. Here's my final example. Remember they said that they cut down them 100-year-old trees in the golf course, City Park golf course, to protect you from a 100-year-old coming flood? Remember they told you that? And they said they was having community meetings and listening to hear what you wanted, but they really weren't doing that? See, the decisions are already made. Why in the world do you have the city and county of Denver partnering with a private developer to ask you what you want, and you as a taxpayer are paying for it? That don't make no sense.
That makes sense.
But I can guarantee you, when they cut down them 100-year-old trees to protect you from a 100-year-old flood, what they were doing was in partnership with the federal government to have a little water retaining ditch to expand I-70. And ran that game out to you, but they was collecting money to expand that highway straight through Elyria, Gloveville, and Swansea, and to destroy that neighborhood more than it's already been destroyed. These are the people that you trust in, and they're asking you to trust them one more time. And I guarantee you on your ballot, Mayor Michael Hancock's asking you for some more money for something else. He asking you some more money for this? He even asking you for some money like for some damn stock show. National. Right. You don't golf, but now all of a sudden you need a better stock show.
He lost his mind, man.
I like this campaign. That's a lot of bull. This whole thing is a lot of bull, and we need to see it.
It's a shame, man. I'll be so glad when Hancock's tenure is done here in Denver. He's made this city a worse place. You know what I mean? And that's sad, man. But he has contributed to the destruction of a good city. Like he needs to go, man.
All you can see is this. Here's the pattern before we get out of here. And Brandon, it's good to hang out with you, bro.
Definitely.
This is hella black.
It's hella black all the time.
We're going to get called names again.
We are. I've been looking at the comments. I've been seeing people saying some stuff that wasn't, they don't like me. But I don't, that doesn't really matter to me. I'm not out here trying to do this for the likes. I'm doing this for the love of community. So.
Let me tell you guys something. We're going to go to Loretta Heights, where, by the way, they cut them trees down, and they said the trees just exploded.
They'll sell you a wooden nickel if you let them.
They said they cut them trees down, and Loretta Heights said, nah, we didn't cut. Them trees exploded. When the last time you see a tree just spontaneously combust?
Man, that's not even possible.
Well, here's what they did at Loretta Heights, and then we'll get going. And by the way, they always send those who look like you to fight with you, so it becomes a fight against us. I'm not fighting against us. I'm just telling you that an easement is a real thing, and it allows you to do something or another. And if you can't agree with what that means, then a judge needs to let you know what that is. And when the judge says there's a green light for you to put whatever you want, then you get involved in the planning process. But I'm not going to be doing like I've seen all my life where you go to meetings, but the decisions have already been made. Like they already said they wanted this to be a metro district, and they always wanted this to be a bid and a GID and all of these different things. All them tools of oppression and white supremacy and gentrification are always in place. So always be leery when someone from the city comes up and asks you what you want, because I guarantee you, you're not going to get it. Don't you remember the community said, we don't want you to close down Manual, and what did Happy Haynes do? Okay, I hear you, but guess what we doing? Closing down Manual.
Same thing with Montbello.
What community? Do you want your neighborhood school to be broken down into multiple schools and be shared and cut? You want that? No, that's what you got. Now all of a sudden, here you are believing them. The city, they gonna keep selling you this stuff as long as you listen to it. Loretta Heights was purchased by this same development group. The neighborhood association inside of that community had already did a visioning plan on their own dime to determine what they wanted as it related to their partnership with the adjoining Loretta Heights property.
Right.
Did the city listen to them? No. They said your planning wasn't good enough, and they brought in their own city planners to do a visioning process.
And wonder why that is.
And to get the answer that they all wanted.
Exactly.
And now they're running the same thing, talking about, what do you want? I don't want anything. I want to know what this easement says.
Right.
I want to know what this easement meant at closing.
Right.
Tell me that. And the lawsuit is saying, because the city won't represent us honestly, and they're using the developer as a client, we're asking the judge to tell the city to represent the interests of the citizens.
Right.
Because they won't do it.
Because Hancock won't do it.
He can't do it because he got to figure out
Ask him
how to
he
get that easement gone.
Didn't he make public how he voted, or what? He didn't vote on 301 or 302, did he?
Well, most folks know, if Hancock endorses it, it's going to get tanked, because if folks look and say, what does he want? They go the opposite direction. Yep. Vote yes on 301, no on 302. It's all game. It ain't about race. It ain't about a park. It ain't about a golf course. It's about, what does this easement mean, and what does development allow for in terms of what was signed at closing. Go to Brother Jeff's Cultural Center or brotherjeff.com. Make a donation of any amount. Do that. Do that. Brandon, final words for you, bro.
Man, my final words are yes on 301 and no on 302. And we've laid out in plain detail why. You know what I mean? We do not trust Andrew Klein and Westside Development, and I do not trust Mayor Michael Hancock and you know, his leadership with the city of Denver. I don't trust it. So I will be voting yes on 301 and no on 302. And you know, that's all I got.
Well, I could tell you, I'm voting yes on 301, no on 302. I'm not fighting with community members about it. I know that the fight is at a higher level. These developers who have plenty of money that don't care about none of you, don't live near you, don't socialize with you, don't go to school with you, don't go to church with you, wouldn't know you if they saw you walking down the street. Have you seen Andy Klein at a meeting?
I haven't.
When I see Andy Klein at a meeting, then I will talk to Andy Klein, because I'm so tired of white folks sending their black employees to the Juneteenth festival or sending them to the Black Arts Festival. White folks, you need to go to Juneteenth or the Black Arts Festival to learn about black folks, and quit sending your black person to go and represent you. Like, everybody got their tokens that they sending out. Andy, you go see it. Andy, you come over here in this free think zone and tell me why 301 is a no for you. Andy Klein, you come over here. But I ain't seen Andy.
No, you know why
because white supremacy ain't got to show up.
We already know why Andy
he already
Klein
got his
is
money.
A no on.
Like,
we already know why he's a no.
Man,
he got $20 million that he's sitting on that he wasted. He can't do nothing with. He's losing money as we speak. And
Andy,
he needs black folks
here.
he needs black people to bail him out.
Andy, get over here. I'm like, Andy. like I know Andy watching, because he's like, how are we gonna deal with them
Yeah, come on, Andy.
Andy, this
I'm gonna be here
Andy,
too when you come.
Andy, this hella black. Like,
I'm gonna be here when you come, Andy.
Andy, come run that game. As a matter of fact, Andy, go to brotherjeff.com and make a donation of any amount. Andy, I want to see it under the Andy Klein. I want to see what you drop. And I'm still going to say vote yes on 301 and vote no on 302. So you go ahead and keep your money.
That's right.
Keep your money. Keep your money. All right, you all. For those of you, again, and I'm going to just break this down once again. There's a thing called a straw man argument. And in 2021, it's called a straw person argument, where they have you fussing about one thing because they don't want to discuss another thing. In other words, they got you looking that way while, in football, they
play action.
Like they boom and pull it back in.
Yeah.
It's like a down, out, and goal or something. They like, poof,
hit them with the play action.
They got some play action going on, y'all. So don't look over there.
Right.
Yes, we want you to have a swimming pool. We want you to have a big old track. We want you to have a community garden. We want you to have everything we want. And like when you was a kid and you used to look at that JCPenney catalog and you circled everything we want you to have all of that. But first, can you get any of that? And the only way you're going to know if you can get any of that is if the judge tells you that this easement means this, that, these, or those. You ain't got to argue about it. You ain't got to fuss about it. You ain't got to listen to this one. You ain't got to listen to that one. Ask the judge what an easement means and then move from there. Keep it that simple, and Andy Klein knows what I'm talking about. Get over here, Andy. Come on. We could talk. It will be respectful. It'll be formidable. But if you an owner, I know the other owners, I like them a lot. We talk all the time. I respect them. So now let me talk to you. I want to talk to you, Andy. Come on over here. But you're about to take this L on 301. So
yes, you are.
Yes, you are. All right, y'all. If you go down swinging. Just might score a knockout. We'll go through the comments. Me and Brandon might have to come back and just answer questions.
Right. For real, there's a lot of them, man.
Brandon, you promised to come back soon so we can,
Yeah, I'll definitely come back soon. There's a couple, people.
We got to stay on this.
Yeah, we got to stay on this issue.
And in politics, listen, we can disagree without being disagreeable. So whatever side you're on, fine, go vote. Like, I hope you vote, but most of the folks who have the loudest mouth, they ain't voting.
Right, definitely.
And they don't care. I'm talking to the voters right now. If you're voting, and if you're an ally, and if you're in the free think zone, and if you're a friend, I'm not saying you have to, but I'm recommending you vote yes on 301, no on 302. Green versus concrete. You want a tree and some grass, or you want some more concrete? You want to hear some birds, or you want to hear some, I don't even know, like whatever. Green versus concrete, and then ask what is an easement. And I'm not going to arm wrestle with any of you all and be fighting and dragging out over somebody who got more money than all of us. And at the end of the day, probably don't care about none of us.
None of us, man.
Go down swinging. Just might score a knockout. Rumble, young man, women in community. Rumble. Yes on 301. No on 302.